So talking about the IELTS writing task 2, a mistake I commonly see with a lot of my students is going off topic. And it does happen because, the prompt is very broad, very wide, and you might come up with a lot of different ideas, but it's good to keep those ideas around the topic. For example, I had a student where her prompt was talking about to what extent do you agree that children or people at the age of 21 should get married. So the legal age to get married should be 21 years old. And she expressed herself pretty well. However, in the first paragraph, she kind of went off topic and talked about arranged marriages in a lot of different cultures and different countries. And to be fair, at the end of that paragraph, she did draw it back to the main topic, specifically talking about ages and at what age should they get married. And right at the end, in a conclusion, she did mention to what kind of extent she agreed. And the next mistake I see a lot of students making is just not supporting their ideas. So the ideas that they mention in the paragraph, not backing it up with reasons or examples. So on the previous example we looked at, where people at the age of 21 should be the minimum age to get married. For example, if I just mentioned that in some countries people don't have control over at what age they get married, that is great. It's a great idea, a great point, but I should back it up with examples such as arranged marriages. Give examples, give points, and just further elaborate. So make sure whenever you mention a point, just keep in your mind why or how. Why is this point the case, or how is it happening? So just keep asking yourself those two questions, how or why, and that will help you to just think of good reasons associated for that point. And the last mistake is just a pretty simple one. I see a lot of students where their paragraphs are not orderly managed. Just looking at their whole essay from a broad perspective, you can see that the paragraphs aren't really in similar sizes. The introduction and conclusion might be as big or bigger than the body paragraphs, and it might not be separated very well. So be careful about that. Make sure your paragraphs and your whole essay altogether in the task 2 just looks very nice and looks appealing for the examiner. And if it looks appealing, it will be organized really well. So those are some 3 mistakes I see a lot of students making.